Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to For StarCraft 2 Strategy, your number one location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Protoss strategy that involves getting early Stalkers to counteract the fact that your Terran opponent is neglecting early Marauders. Basically, the strategy is going to be effective due to the fact that Stalkers are so incredibly strong versus Marines that you should be able to do massive amounts of damage if you hit them on before they are able to get out any Marauders. Now, why would a Terran player neglect to get Marauders? Well, they may neglect to get Marauders early on because they're trying to go for a fast tech build. Maybe they're attempting to do the 1-1-1 build, which involves getting a barracks, then a factory, then a starport. And so they're going to be neglecting some early Marauders due to that fact. So basically, in scouting out your opponent, if you do see that they have a barracks without a tech lab, and you do see that no Marauders are in sight, what you want to go ahead and do is get some Stalkers out, get a handful of Stalkers out very quickly, send them straight to your opponent's base, and see how much damage you can do. Because again, if they are neglecting Marauders entirely, you could very well just wipe out their base. Once more, Marines are just so weak versus Stalkers. It's definitely a one-sided battle. Now, a quick note here for the Terran player, walling off the front of your base versus Protoss isn't really always the best idea. The reason being that Stalker's range is such that they can hit the supply depots at the front of your base without being attacked by the Marines that are sitting behind those supply depots. So basically, they can attack your buildings without any recourse, and you're just going to be losing your supply depots and whatever else you have at your front wall off, and not gaining anything in return. So basically losing it for absolutely nothing. So just taking a look at the build order here for the Protoss player, we're looking at a pretty standard build, starting off with that 9 pylon, followed up by a 12 gateway, and then an assimilator once the gateway starts building, and drop an assimilator. Go ahead and saturate that assimilator. That's going to give you the Vespian necessary to come up with those Stalkers when needed, or to switch techs if that's what you decide to end up doing. So as you can see, one gateway is warping in right now. Our second gateway has just started building. As soon as we get the minerals necessary, we're going to be dropping our cybernetics core. And taking a look at our scout, we've finally found our Terran opponent here, and we're just gonna take a look at exactly what we see. We're moving in, we see that one barracks and a Marine coming out. We see another supply depot. We don't see a tech lab, and what we're also going to be seeing here is the second Marine that starts building. And if you're wondering how you can know that without actually being the Terran player, well, if you take a look at the front of the building there, the blinking lights, that informs you that something is being built inside of the barracks. So seeing no tech lab, you know that the only thing that could be being built inside of here is a Marine. So in seeing that, you do know that, again, there are no Marauders coming anytime soon. So that's when we just make that decision. Cybernetics core just popped, and we're going to be using our minerals and Vespian to go ahead and get one and a second Stalker as soon as, yep, so with another Stalker coming in now. So we're going to be pushing out with these two Stalkers as soon as the opportunity arises, as soon as they come out, basically. So yeah, I mean, this is just going to be very strong versus anyone who neglects early Marauders, because the Stalkers are so strong versus those Marines. Taking a look back at our base, this is kind of, we're preparing for the possible tech switch. We're going to be dropping another pylon to make sure that we have enough supply to continue to produce Stalkers. But preparing for the tech switch in the sense that we're going to be getting another Vespian geyser shortly, and then we're also going to be preparing, if necessary, to switch up to warp gate tech. We're going to start researching this momentarily, I believe. Should be coming pretty shortly. I'm not sure if it's now or sometime in the near future, but moving up to that warp gate research so that if this push doesn't work, if it doesn't really wipe them out or do significant amount of damage, we can be prepared with our follow-up. We can be prepared to hit them with what we've got coming next. So again, moving forward with the Stalkers, and this is exactly where you're going to see what I was talking about, how the Stalkers are going to be able to hit this frontal wall off without any recourse from the Marines behind it. Their range is such that they're just not going to be able to get hit. Now, the only thing you could really do at this point is either bring up the SCV to repair, but as you see, the Stalkers can then move up and kill the SCV, or you can take your Marines out of your bunker or out from behind the wall and move them forward to try to ward off the Stalkers. Again, the problem is that the Stalkers are just going to kill those Marines too quickly. The Marines aren't going to really do enough damage versus them. So taking a look back at our base, as you can see, we do have that warp gate research coming in, being prepared for the tech switch if necessary, but in this game it doesn't prove to be necessary. Coming out with these additional stalkers right here, and then we're going to be moving them to our opponent's base. At this point, if I were the Protoss player, I would change my rally points from right here, and I would just set the rally points right outside the base, because so far this push has been pretty successful. We've managed to take out 2 supply depots, and we forced him to lift off his barracks. Now we do have this bunker to contend with. The Marines are obviously going to do pretty well against the Stalkers while inside the bunker, but what we're going to want to do is once we get a couple more Stalkers up here, we'll have enough to kind of try to sneak by and then do some major damage in the back of his base, kind of forcing those Marines to come out of the bunker. But again, we're going to want to wait till we get a couple more, because if we just try to run by with these 3, what's going to happen is we're going to lose 1 and probably half of the health of another one. And then they're going to be so weakened that these Marines can just move out, and they will end up being able to kill them. Now the Terran player is finally getting that tech lab to go ahead and try to build a Marauder, but again, because we're able to snipe off those supply depots, he's supply capped and he can't even start building that. So as you're going to see here, we are moving forward with our Stalkers. The Marines are going to come out, and this is where you're going to see just how strong Stalkers are versus Marines. They're just going to drop them pretty quickly. I don't know why he's attacking. He was attacking the factory there for a minute. That's not what you want to do. Definitely want to take out those Marines quickly, and then go ahead and try to micro around those SCVs. You don't want to get surrounded, because the SCVs will kill the Stalkers, believe it or not. Workers aren't that terrible. They can kill units if they get a good surround on them. So as you can see, 1 Stalker we lost there to that SCV. And I need to pick off this Marine. I don't know what he's doing. Just concentrating too much on those SCVs chasing him. You want to kill that ranged unit, obviously. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, Stalkers are just so strong versus those Marines that there's not really too much the Terran player is going to be able to do at this point. Looking back at our base again, preparing for that tech switch by getting that second assimilator. Our warp gate research is up, so we could turn these into warp gates and warp in some more Stalkers, but it wasn't really necessary. I do want to apologize for the frame rate of this video here. I know it's pretty low, kind of crappy. My computer's kind of been exploding today. We're going to give it a rest before we try to record any more videos this evening. We do have a few more strategies coming up for you later today. So just taking a look at another quick overview of a strategy here. Started off with pretty standard stuff, getting that 9 pylon followed by that 12 gateway. Then we followed up the gateway with getting an assimilator and saturated that as soon as it came up. We dropped the second gateway, and then once our first gateway finished warping in, we went ahead and got our cybernetics core. Now in seeing that information, in seeing what we had up here for the Terran player, which was just that barracks with a couple supply depots and no tech lab on the barracks, at that point we knew that he wasn't going to be getting Marauders anytime soon. So as soon as the cybernetics core came up, we pumped out a couple Stalkers, went to the front of their base and began the harass. And then just staying aggressive with those Stalkers and stopping any Marauders from coming out is what's going to allow you to win. And another thing to note, if he starts trying to build a tech lab on his barracks, you can stop that by just killing the tech lab, and that's going to make it so that he definitely won't have any Marauders out at all. And again, another reason why this is successful is because he was trying to go for that 1-1-1 build, and he spent his resources on these tech buildings instead of getting some more Marines and some Marauders early on. So again, guys, this has been for StarCraft 2 Strategy. If you like our videos here, and if you like what you see, please do subscribe to our channel. And please stay tuned for more videos, guys. Keep watching and keep owning.